And we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another great episode of the Moving Forward Leadership Podcast. I'm your host and founder, Scott McCarthy, and this podcast is all about making yourself better as a leader and your organization better through active leadership. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Today's episode is episode number 5, and it's going to be a Christmas special. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of eggnog if you want, and enjoy. So today, as I said, episode 5 is going to be all about Christmas and Christmas-related issues. You will probably wonder why I'm talking about Christmas as a topic today. Basically, Christmas is probably the largest holiday season in the Christian world, I would say. So it's important to a lot of people, but it's also important to businesses because it really is one of the busiest time of year, especially if you're in retail. So what we're going to talk about today is 3 main areas that I always focus on each year during the Christmas time. And that is talking about your KPIs to your people, what to do during a Christmas party, and how to actually properly thank your people during the Christmas time. So let's dive into the first topic of today's podcast, and that is talking to your people about your KPIs and which is your key performance indicators. So I started doing this way back, probably about 8 years ago now, of grabbing my KPIs during the Christmas holiday time. And right before we go on Christmas leave in the military, so we generally get about 2 weeks off each year. So basically right around the last day or so before we go on our Christmas break, I would actually get my organization together and go over my KPIs. Often leaders will say, you know what guys, you're doing a great job, well done, we're moving the yardsticks forward, all these cliche sayings I would say, but there's never any real substance to it. There's nothing your people can actually sink their teeth in, have a great true understanding of what it means and so on. So this is where your KPIs come in, your key performance indicators. So what you need to do is go ahead and pull that data. And if you can't pull it yourself, it's okay to have your people pull it on your behalf. Just let them know what you want, a few different things. For example, within my transportation organization, I said I wanted to know how many tasks we completed in this calendar year and how many kilometers we traveled throughout the year. And that allowed me them to focus in on just those 2 real key KPIs for that sub-organization of mine. When I got that data back, then I was actually able to put it in context for them. Because keep in mind, everybody does their job. Everybody does their individual piece of the pie, but not everybody understands the full picture. Right? So for a driver, for example, who may be doing tractor-trailer runs of 500 kilometers a day or 2, may not fully understand how much mileage the organization as a whole is doing. And then from there, they can go ahead and input themselves into those figures. So once I get all these numbers, I bring everybody together. The organization I currently come in, I have 3 different types of organizations, very diverse. So transport, supply, and maintenance. So I gathered all 3 of those the KPIs for those 3 organizations together and brought everybody together and individually went through them section by section. So how I did it was as I was discussing the KPIs for a particular section, such as transport, for example, I would get all the people involved with transport to stand up. Once I was done with them, I'd get them to sit down, and then I would get the supply guys to stand up, and then so on to the maintenance, and thank them for what they did. And it helps everybody to see the larger picture. And each individual section gets to understand what the other sections have done in the past year. It's absolutely mind-blowing for some people and eye-opening for others, and it really does help. I've had a number of people tell me in the past that you know what, sir, this is great. I get to know now exactly where I'm fitting in, or how well work the organization is actually doing. So keep that in mind as you move forward to 2016 winds down and 2017 begins to ramp up. It's not something necessarily you have to do right before the end of the year. Maybe you can do it right after the new year if you wanted to do so. But get your people together and go over these numbers so that they have a clear understanding of how well we've done. If you're in a business, how well have you done in your sales? How well have you done in retaining people, clients, for example, or gathering new clients? And if you really want to get into more and more detailed data and diving into it deeper, then you can also even compare those numbers to previous year or previous couple of years, so on and so forth, so that you can then see the historical trends. But keep in mind, you don't want to use too much time of your day data mining, because then you're going to get sucked up and it's going to basically overwhelm you once you get into too much data. So too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, as they say. Another thing to keep in mind is who your audience is and so on and so forth. Talking to your people, I also let my boss know of this information because, well, they're my boss's people as well, as much as they are mine. So I let him know or her know, depending on the time, on how well we've done on their behalf, so that he or she has a full understanding of what my organization is doing on their behalf, and it's well received as well. So that is KPIs. So hopefully you gather something out of that. Hopefully that helps you down the road. I think it should. It's never stirred me wrong this time of year, and I think it's also a really great time of year to do so. Think about it. Everybody's reflecting on the past year. 2016, have I achieved what I wanted to achieve? Has the organization achieved what it wants to achieve? Well, why not a better time to go ahead and inform everybody how you've done than the time when you're actually looking back on it? So as 2016 winds down, maybe it's time to go ahead and dive into those statistics and have a look at it and then let your people know. All right? So think about that. And if you find that interesting and you go ahead and implement it with your own organization, feel free to let me know. I'd be definitely willing to hear and interested to hear how it's received and how well you've done. Or maybe you didn't do as good as what you thought you did. And what are you going to do in 2017 to change that? And that's another topic. So let's go down to the next subtopic, or topic for today, I should say. And let's talk about the Christmas party. Okay, every company, every organization basically goes out and has a Christmas party, whether that be drinks at the office, or coffee at the office with the Secret Santa exchange, or full-blown gala dinner at a third-party location, venue, what have you, with dinner, dance, prizes, so on and so forth. Generally, in my organizations, we always go for the latter. It's a time for people to get with their spouses, to meet their other halves, coworkers, and other halves as well. And just a good time for everybody to let their hair down. But how do you interact at the Christmas party as a leader? That is something which a lot of people struggle with, believe it or not. The one thing I will have to say is that keep in mind that you are never not the boss. You are always the boss to your people. And you need to basically represent yourself well all the time. Now, I'm not saying that you can't let your hair down or relax or have a drink or two and enjoy yourself, but you also need to keep in mind that you need to act appropriately at the end of the day, because this is time when too many leaders go ahead, make mistakes, and basically lose the confidence and the trust of their people because they've done something stupid at a work Christmas party. I've seen it too many times myself. So here's some tidbits on how to keep away from doing that. The first tidbit is set yourself an exit time and stick to it. Okay, there's a couple different reasons for that. One, it keeps you there only as long as you're able to basically mingle with everyone, have a dinner, interact a little bit more, maybe have a dance or a few drinks with people, give it a few prizes, say a speech, and then basically after that, leave. And there's a couple different reasons for that. The first off is it's for your people, in that your people may not necessarily want the boss at their party. Keep in mind, it's not your party, it's the company's party. And your company is made up of your people, right? So just because you run the company or you run the organization, so on and so forth, it doesn't make it your party. Way community leaders think it's their party when they show up. No, it's not thrown for you. It's thrown for your people. Probably organized by your people, and you're just having the benefit of their hard work. So set yourself an exit time. All right. For myself, I set it for 10 p.m. Our party started at 6, so I figured 4 hours was enough time to have a drink or two prior to the meal, have a meal, and then mingle a bit. I gave out a few prizes and so on, and then a quick little speech, all right? And then I mingled a little bit more, hit the dance floor once, and then I headed out my way. So just keep that in mind, that it wasn't my party, and that's why I set the 10 o'clock expiry time, basically. Another reason why I set the 10 o'clock expiry time, because I knew that I wasn't going to become intoxicated to the point where I would do something stupid within 4 hours. Okay, I'm not saying that everyone could do that, or everyone goes out and drinks and so on and so forth, but alcohol has a way of making things bad for people. And when alcohol gets involved, generally, especially at Christmas parties, often times things go south, bad situations occur, and you hear it on the radio stations all the time during this time of year. So keep in mind expiry time at the Christmas party. Another tip of advice for the Christmas party is to bring a guest. Now, if you're married or you're in a serious relationship with someone, that is all too easy. If you can, right? If you can bring that person with you. My reasoning for bringing a guest is that they can help you, one, stick to your exit time, right? The expiry time for you, and two, keep you in check. Let them know before you head in, say, hey, I want to be out by no later than 10 p.m., we'll say. Make sure you don't have too many drinks. You only want to have one drink an hour or something like that, so on and so forth, so that they can be your check and balance when you're at the party. As parties go and the times get good and it's a lot of fun, usually people tend to relax and loosen their standards. So a person to keep you in check, keep checks and balance with you, is a great idea, so that as you relax, they're able to say, hey, it's almost 10 o'clock. Didn't you say you wanted to leave by 10? Or, hey, you've had 2 drinks in the past half an hour, I noticed, and you said you only want one for within an hour. So it allows you to put yourself back on track of how the party is going and how you're conducting yourself at the party. And finally, the last thing that the guest helps you with is to bingo, actually. Because keep in mind that generally your people will have their other halves at the party. If it's a formal gala type, such as mine. If it's an office party, not so much. So the guest helps you mingle with everybody else. They're able to go ahead and mingle with the spouses of your people if they're of the same sex. They're able to mingle with your people if they're of the same sex, or just talk with everyone. Also, they can help you build an exit out of a conversation. For example, if you didn't want to talk to a couple of your people for very long, but you just wanted to say hi to them and so on and so forth, they can go ahead and make a distraction and basically extract you from that location, per se. So just keep that in mind. It's a good thing to have a chat with your guests to let them know what you want to achieve or what your expectations are and how they can help you out throughout the night, so on and so forth. Basically giving them a mini briefing, and as the night goes on, let them know if you could use more help in any particular way. So guests, absolutely critical. So keep in mind, know your exit time and try to stick to it. Try to limit your alcohol consumption, or limit your alcohol consumption, I should say, and use your guest. The final thing I would say about a Christmas party is actually enjoy yourself and let your hair down a little bit. A little bit, not too much, okay? Don't go too crazy. Don't break out Frank the Tank, per se. If you don't know who Frank the Tank is, you should definitely go watch Old School. Awesome movie. Sit back with a bowl of popcorn and a drink and be prepared for some good laughs. Anyway, I digress. Let your hair down a little bit. Show your people that you can have fun. You're not necessarily uptight. You don't have a stick up your butt per se, so on and so forth, because that just shows that you are a human being, that you have some humanity to you, and that people can relate to you. Me, I went and gave a speech, finished my drink, and then the Macarena went on by the DJ, so I hit the dance floor and danced to the Macarena. And there's a lot of videos and pictures taken of me doing the Macarena, which is absolutely fine. Really? Do I care? Not at all. What did it do? It showed my people that, hey, I can have fun, I'm human, I enjoy myself, and I can let my hair down, per se. So just think about that. When it comes to your Christmas party, hopefully these tips will keep you away from the calls into the radio stations by people saying with the funny stories about their drunk boss or their boss who just didn't know when to leave, and so on and so forth. The final thing I want to talk about today regarding Christmas is the how to basically say Merry Christmas to your people or relate to your people during this time. And how I do that personally is through Christmas cards. No, it's not something crazy new. However, how I do it is a little bit different than what most people do. So as I've said, I command a pretty large squadron, it's called, and it's a fair number of people, and it's pretty layered in the organization. So what do we do with the Christmas cards is basically this. I get myself and my right-hand man, per se, to sign them off, wishing everybody within the organization a Merry Christmas, and so on and so forth. Each person gets an individual card. And when there's 200 people in the organization, it gets to be a lot of writing. But nonetheless, you have to do it. For me, I push it down to the next person's level. So as I've said, I have 3 different individual sections, transport, supply, and maintenance. So I pass it to their individual commanders. I'm like, here you go. Here's Christmas cards for your people. And I want you to go ahead and sign into them and then pass it down to the next level. So as these commanders sign off on the Christmas cards, it goes down to what they're known as section commanders. When the section commander signs it off, then it goes down to the section 2IC, and then when the section 2IC signs it off, or the subsection commander, depending on how they're broken up, they finally make it down to the individual member of the organization. So the entire chain of command gets a card, signs it up, wishing the member a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, with various statements in there of, what's to come or how the year has been, so on and so forth. And the members see that their entire chain of command is supporting them at this great time of the year. So that's how I do Christmas cards. I don't sign them all off personally and then hand them out to everybody within my organization. I actually get the entire chain of what we call the chain of command involved with this. So that basically involves everyone within the entire organization. And so keep in mind that all these various commanders as well get their Christmas cards. So basically, as the cards filter down, once they hit theirs, they hold on to it. They don't push it down any further, obviously. But the end result that the member, the soldier right at the ground level, the worker level, gets a card with probably half a dozen or so signatures and statements on there, wishing them a Merry Christmas. So hopefully you can go ahead and build this into your organization. If you have a very small organization, let's say half a dozen, there's a couple other ways you can do it too. You can basically secretly get everybody to sign each other's cards. I've done that in the past. Or when you have a small organization where there's a couple senior people and then the rest are junior people, have the senior ones sign the junior people's cards and the junior people sign the senior people's cards, and then you basically swap them around. So there's a few different ways to do it. You basically will need to look at your organization, see how you're structured, and see what works best for you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that basically sums up today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this brings some ideas to the forefront. Feel free to let me know. Again, follow me on Twitter. My handle is at MFL, as in Moving Forward Leadership _podcast. That's my Twitter handle. Don't forget our website, at movingforwardleadership.com. Feel free to leave a comment on the blog post, which basically shows the podcast and when they're set live. As well, I want to wish everybody out there, all my listeners, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and all the best for 2017. Early in the next episode, I'm going to try to talk about goal setting for the upcoming year and how to talk about or how to set goals for both yourself as an individual, but as well as your organization. So just to recap today's episode, remember to stay out of trouble at the Christmas party, okay? Bring someone with you, limit your alcohol consumption, set an exit time, but as well, enjoy yourself. As well, talk about your key performance indicators from the year, all right? You can do this anytime, either now or even just into the new year, so that your people have an idea of how they've done this past year. And finally, and leastly, show your people your gratitude by giving them Christmas cards or some kind of something of that nature, and saying thanks for everything you've done this past year, wishing them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, so on and so forth. With that, take care, and remember, keep moving forward, keep getting better, and keep achieving. Thanks.